Okay, welcome to a deep dive. Look, artificial intelligence, it's reshaping our world, right?
Absolutely.
It's in the personalized recommendations you see, like on Netflix, the way your phone understands your voice.
hmm
Even those self-driving cars starting to appear, it feels like it's everywhere.
It really is. And, you know, for many people watching this transformation, the question naturally comes up, how do I actually get involved? How do I learn this? It can feel incredibly daunting when you're starting from scratch.
It really can. The sheer volume of information out there about AI is, well, it's staggering.
Yeah.
That's why we pulled this specific source material, a fantastic, really beginner-friendly article called How to Learn AI, a step-by-step guide for beginners.
Good one.
Our mission today is to kind of cut through that noise, take the core insights from this guide, and, lay out a clear pathway for you, breaking it down into actionable steps.
And the beauty of this guide is that it really aims to demystify the process. It makes it clear you don't need to be like a genius or have a computer science degree just to start your journey in AI.
Right. And one of the first things it tackles is that really fundamental question, why bother?
Right.
Why learn AI in the first place?
Yeah.
The why, the article paints a pretty compelling picture, actually, of the career opportunities available right now.
And what's fascinating here is how broad the demand is.
Yeah.
This isn't just about tech companies anymore. Not at all.
hmm
We're seeing a huge need for AI skills in, well, data science, machine learning, automation, robotics, even in creative fields.
Really creative, too.
Yeah. So whether you're a student planning your future or maybe a professional looking to pivot, AI skills are becoming increasingly valuable and, frankly, highly sought after.
It's clear gaining these skills could really impact your career trajectory. Profoundly, maybe.
Definitely.
So, okay, if you're convinced this is a path worth exploring, where does this guide suggest you actually begin? What's step one?
It makes a crucial point.
Uh-huh.
You absolutely have to start with the fundamentals. The very first step is simply understanding the basic landscape of AI, getting the concepts down.
Okay, so understanding the language. And it defines a few key terms we hear thrown around a lot, like what is artificial intelligence itself in, simple terms.
Well, at its core, AI is about machines simulating human intelligence, thinking, learning, problem solving, that kind of thing.
Okay.
But then you quickly encounter terms like machine learning,
Huh.
ML.
Which is a subset of AI, right? Not the same thing.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Machine learning is specifically where machines learn from data without being explicitly programmed for every single scenario.
Yeah.
You feed it data and it learns patterns.
Okay, learn. And within ML, you hear about deep learning.
Yep.
That sounds
Right.
deeper, like a deeper layer of complexity.
It is, yeah. Deep learning is a type of machine learning that uses these multi-layered structures called neural networks,
Yeah.
often kind of inspired by the human brain, actually. And they're used to handle more complex tasks, especially with large amounts of data like images or sound.
Got it. So AI is the big umbrella, ML is learning from data, and deep learning is a powerful method within ML using these neural networks. And finally, natural language processing, or NLP.
Right, NLP. That's the part of AI focused on enabling computers to understand, interpret, and manipulate human language.
Oh, like talking to computers.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
This is what powers things like chatbots, translation software, sentiment analysis, all that stuff.
Okay. So understanding those foundational terms is step one on this path. And the guide points you towards some great beginner resources for this initial exposure.
Yeah, places to start.
YouTube channels like Simplilearn and FreeCodeCamp are mentioned, and articles on platforms like Towards Data Science or, other AI publications on Medium. Places to get that initial lay of the land.
Exactly. Now, once you have a conceptual grasp, the next logical question is, what technical skills do you actually need to, build these things?
Right, the practical bit. That's where the guide moves next, pretty cool. It dives into programming. It states pretty clearly that you need programming knowledge to work with AI.
Yep, no getting around that.
Yeah,
And it's quite specific about the preferred language for beginners,
Python.
Python. Okay. And what's particularly insightful here is why it recommends Python. It highlights its relative simplicity compared to other languages,
Easier to learn.
generally. Yeah. And critically, its incredibly strong ecosystem of libraries, tools, basically purpose-built for data and AI.
Simplicity is definitely a friend to the beginner. So you'd start with foundational programming concepts in Python, things like variables, loops, and functions, the basic building blocks of any program, really.
Exactly right. And then you quickly move into those key Python libraries that are just indispensable for AI work, things like NumPy.
NumPy, right, for numbers.
Yeah, makes working with numerical data and arrays easy. Then Pandas, essential for data manipulation and analysis.
Mm-hmm.
And Matplotlib for creating visualizations, charts and graphs to understand your data.
Understanding those libraries is absolutely key once you have the Python basics down. And for learning Python itself, the guide lists resources like the official python.org site, Codecademy for that interactive learning.
Which is great for some people.
Yeah, or Coursera's very popular Python for Everybody course by Dr. Charles Severance. Solid places to build that coding muscle.
Definitely good options. But AI isn't just about code. It's deeply rooted in mathematics.
Ah.
Okay, the guide points out that the next fundamental building block you'll need is understanding certain areas of math.
Math. Okay, for many, myself included sometimes, that can be the intimidating part. Does it say you need to be like a math wizard? Because that's where I personally might hit a wall.
No, it's specifically reassures you that you don't need to be a math wizard with advanced degrees. That's a relief, right?
Big relief.
But it emphasizes focusing on specific areas that provide the foundation for how AI algorithms actually work.
Okay, targeted math study then, not just math in general. Which areas does the guide highlight as most important for AI beginners?
Okay, so linear algebra is crucial. Think of AI working with data often represented in grids or vectors.
Like spreadsheets, kinda?
Sort of, yeah. And linear algebra gives you the tools to manipulate those structures, essential for training models. Then, probability and statistics are vital for understanding data, uncertainty, how good your model is.
Makes sense.
The basics of calculus are needed too, for understanding optimization techniques used in training how models learn efficiently. And matrix operations, which is really part of linear algebra, but they call it out separately, is fundamental for handling the large data sets AI works with.
Okay, that makes sense. It's about the math that directly applies to data and algorithms, not abstract theory so much.
Exactly. And it even gives free course resources for tackling this math.
Oh,
Khan Academy, which is just fantastic for building foundational understanding across subjects.
Love Khan Academy.
Right? And 3 Blue 1 Brown on YouTube, which is just brilliant for visual explanations of complex math concepts. Really intuitive.
Cool. So you've built up your core understanding, you've got Python skills, you've tackled the necessary math fundamentals. The guide's pathway next leads you to actually learning machine learning concepts themselves.
Yep, time to put those building blocks to work.
Ah, okay. What are the core ML concepts you should focus on at this stage, according to this guide?
It points to understanding the different types of learning. First, there's supervised learning.
Supervised? Like with a teacher?
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
You train a model on labeled data input-output pairs. You tell it this input goes with this output. Then there's unsupervised learning, where the model just finds patterns in unlabeled data on its own. No labels provided.
Okay, finds hidden structures.
Exactly. And then understanding core tasks like regression, which is predicting a continuous value, like predicting a house price.
Then number.
Right. And classification, which is categorizing data into discrete groups, like identifying if an email is spam or not spam.
Got it. Spam, not spam. Okay, so supervised, unsupervised is how you train, and regression classification are common problems AI solves, and it lists specific common algorithms to learn after those core concepts.
Yes. It names algorithms like decision trees. Think of it like following a flowchart to make a decision based on data.
Simple enough.
Kind of intuitive, yeah.
Yeah.
Then KNN, K nearest neighbors, SVM, support vector machines, and random forest. These are classic algorithms that are great to start with to see how ML actually works in practice.
Okay. And for actually learning these ML concepts and algorithms, it recommends courses like Coursera's highly regarded machine learning course by Andrew Ng.
A classic. Really well regarded.
And Google's machine learning crash course, which is a great free resource.
Yeah, excellent free option there. Now, theory is essential, but AI is fundamentally practical. This is where the rubber meets the road, and frankly, where it can sometimes feel most daunting. Step 5 in the guide is absolutely crucial practice with real data sets.
You absolutely cannot skip this part. The guide strongly emphasizes that hands-on projects will significantly boost your understanding and really cement what you've learned. You need to move beyond just tutorials and, work with messy, real-world data.
Exactly right. Get your hands dirty. And the guide points you to where you can find these data sets. Kaggle is highlighted as a fantastic resource.
Hear about Kaggle all the time.
Yeah, it's great. Not just for finding data, but also for competitions, seeing how others approach problems, and there's a supportive community. The UCI Machine Learning Repository is another standard source, very well established.
Okay. And to get you started, the article provides concrete example project ideas. Things like predicting housing prices based on features,
Classic regression problem.
building a movie recommendation system, similar to what Netflix uses,
Fun one?
or performing sentiment analysis on text like tweets to see if they're positive, negative, or neutral. These are tangible projects you can tackle with the skills you've built.
Those sound like projects that actually have real-world applications.
Huh?
Okay, so you've understood the basics, built your tech and math skills, studied ML concepts, and started practicing. What's the next stage according to this pathway? Where do you go from there?
The guide suggests that after mastering the fundamentals of ML, you can begin exploring more advanced topics, things like deep learning and natural language processing, but in more depth this time.
Right, moving deeper into specific areas. It talks about getting comfortable with deep learning, using powerful frameworks like TensorFlow or PyTorch.
The big names.
Exactly.
Yeah.
These frameworks make building complex neural networks much more manageable. And then really delving into NLP for specific applications, maybe focusing on tasks like building chatbots, automatically summarizing text, or translating languages.
Cool stuff. And for these more advanced areas, it lists resources like the comprehensive deep learning.ai specialization on Coursera, which goes really deep into neural networks.
Andrew Ng, again, very thorough.
And Hugging Face tutorials, which are particularly valuable if you want to work with state-of-the-art NLP models. They're kind of the leaders there now.
Hugging Face is huge in NLP, yeah. Now, you've built all these skills, worked on projects, but learning in isolation isn't really the most effective way to grow, especially in such a fast-moving field like AI.
Good point.
The guide makes a really important point next. Join AI communities and stay updated.
Right. Why is community so important in AI specifically?
Well, the field evolves incredibly rapidly. There's new research, new tools coming out constantly. Communities are just vital for staying current, getting feedback on your projects when you inevitably hit a wall.
Which you will.
Oh, yeah. And just learning from others, seeing what they're working on.
Makes sense. The landscape changes fast. And it lists specific types of communities to look for. Subreddits like machine learning, various LinkedIn AI groups,
Lots of those.
dedicated Discord servers focused on AI topics, and engaging with open source projects on GitHub, which is a great way to learn by actually contributing to real-world code bases.
Absolutely. Reading and contributing to code is invaluable. And finally, you've done all this learning, practiced, built projects, engaged with others. How do you consolidate all that and make it visible? The final crucial step in this guide's pathway is to build a portfolio and share it.
Ah, okay. This is where you basically document your entire journey and showcase the tangible skills you've built through those practice projects you did.
Exactly. The guide suggests methods like writing blog posts about what you're learning, maybe explaining concepts or your project process. Pushing your code and projects to GitHub repositories is essential.
Gotta have a GitHub.
Yeah. Or creating a personal website to feature your work. It's really about making your skills and accomplishments concrete and visible, to potential employers or collaborators.
So looking back at this guide, it truly maps out a clear, actionable path. From absolute beginner to someone with tangible AI skills and, importantly, a way to demonstrate them. It feels much less overwhelming when broken down this way.
It really does. It circles back to that initial feeling of being maybe lost or intimidated and reminds you that everyone starts somewhere. It's not about knowing everything on day one,
Definitely not.
but about consistently working through these building blocks, step by step.
Right. It emphasizes that with consistent effort, getting your hands dirty with real-world data, and just maintaining a curious mindset, you truly can gain valuable skills. Skills that can transform your career.
And potentially even contribute to shaping the world around you as AI continues to become more integrated into, well, everything we do.
It's quite a powerful journey mapped out here, from just understanding the terms to building real projects and sharing them with the world. And the guide leaves us with a pretty inspiring closing thought, doesn't it? Encouraging you to just take that first step.
It does, because, as our source puts it so simply, your AI journey begins with just one line of code.
Something to definitely think about as you explore this fascinating and impactful field. Well, that was a fantastic deep dive into how a beginner can begin tackling the world of AI, all thanks to the pathway mapped out in this guide. Thanks for joining us.
Always a pleasure. Thanks for having me.